And I decided that it was my job to give them whatever it was that they needed. And if I was singing, I couldn't do that because, you know, it just wouldn't work, because I would have to have them on the road and I would be torn, you know, because I love the music so much. So I just cut it all off. All of it, even gospel. And I'll never forget, I'll never forget the day that I started back singing. And I went to my church out in California, and I went to the choir, and I auditioned for the choir, and the choir director looked at me and he said, "You've been sitting in that pew for all this time, and you didn't come up here and sing?"
Wow.
You know, so having, of course,
how you been blocking the gift?
Right. Yes. Exactly. But because, I mean, I sang to my children, you know, I sang in the house, but I never sang publicly. What started all back was my father passed in 1994, and I came back to Michigan. My mother asked me to sing at his funeral. I hadn't sung publicly, like I said, for 15 years. And at his funeral, it was almost like an epiphany. You know, it's like I could see myself singing. I was singing, but it's like I was watching myself. And he kept saying to me, "Why aren't you singing? You know that's what you are. You know that's what you do. Why aren't you singing?" So when I went back to California, I started singing again. You know, and that waterfall just opened up. You know, and because I was without music for so long, now it's such a joy for me. You know, no matter what kind of music. I mean, I studied classical music with Willis Patterson at University of Michigan and Interlochen. I went to Interlochen, so I studied classical. And, you know, I sing gospel, I sing blues, I sing jazz. I even, on my very first CD, no, that was my second CD. The first CD was a tribute to Billie Holiday. It's called Emotions Blue. The second CD was called Variations. And on that CD, I wrote even a country song.
Oh, wow.
Why do you treat me the way you do? And all I've been is good to you.
Oh, wow. That sounds like it could be blues, too.
Right, right. Yes. So, to me, music is music. You know, I don't like for people to pigeonhole me and say, "Oh, you know, she's a jazz singer." I am a jazz singer, but I'm also a blues singer. I'm also a gospel singer. I'm also an R&B singer.
That's right.
You know, so
all encompassing.
I think that especially women in the business, people like to pigeonhole us. You know, they like to say, "Well, she's this and she's that," but I break all of that. You know, I don't accept any of it. I don't accept any of it. You know, my second CD, Variations, was released in 90-something, I think 96. And back then, Tower Records, they didn't know where to put it.
Oh, wow.
Because it had too much on it. You know, it had jazz, it had blues, it had gospel, it had country. You know, and they said, "Well, we don't know where to put you." Well, nowadays, that's not the issue.
Right.
Because you can download one song. You know, and you can download it into whatever genre you want. So I think for people today, I think the world is wide open.
And I love that, too. Because it took away classifying singers, and it also took away.
I think they still try to classify. I think they still try, but I think that if you, like, even now, people say, "Well, you're a jazz singer." Well, I am, and I love jazz. You know, but my root is gospel. You know, that's where my root is. So I bring that into everything that I do, whether it be jazz or blues or whatever. So, but I think that people still will try to pigeonhole you, especially female singers. You know.
I noticed that.
I don't know. I try to be unlimited.
Back here. See, they don't do that on the West Coast so much. But here, I noticed it's like, "Well, what kind of songs do you do?" "Oh, you're a such and such." No, I'm like, Joe, no.
Well, that's one thing I like about the younger group. Because they don't pigeonhole themselves into anything, you know. And even though I'll use India Arie as an example, you know, she came out one time acoustic, the very beginning. Her music turned into some spiritual music at another time. It got back to earthy R&B, you know. So she kind of kept it unlimited. And the thing that I loved about what she did was that she didn't let that, or the society or the makers or the name makers or the defining people to define you. She didn't let them define her, even down to her look. And so I think that's really, really important. Come on, girl, I'm hard on it.
You know, it's funny because people tell me all the time that I change my looks like the weather.
That's good.
And it's true. You know, it's however I feel.
And that's what it should be.
That's the way it is. I don't get stuck in you might see me like this today, and then next week it's like people walk right past me. They don't know who I am.
Oh, that's Joan.
Right.
I've done that, Joan.
I know.
I didn't know that was Joan.
Right.
It was the look. Her look changed. She's got, I don't know, Mother Earth right here, but I love that.
Black Queen.
Then she's got the
Black
chic
Queen,
with the
Black
short hair
Queen.
chic. Oh my God, I love that short hair. That is so sharp. I got to do it up one day. And it's like BJ. BJ does the same thing too. You know, because when I first met you, it was one way. I met the mother.
Yes.
I met the mother, BJ.
Right.
And then as we started doing the gigs, I met the homegirl.
Right.
But I love it. You know. And
well, I get bored with myself.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, when I say that, I mean how I look.
Yeah.
So just like now, I'm doing this, but tomorrow I might be doing something else.
Yeah.
Because it's me who I am doing it for.
Yes.
I just put it that way.
And for me, it also depends on what I'm doing, what hat I have on. Like, I have on a producer hat, if I have on a studio hat, if I have on a road manager hat, if I have on a performer hat. You know, it just depends on what I'm doing. You know, it's designed to be functional for what it is that I need.
Okay, so now you talked about all the different hats you wear. So tell us some of the hats. Because I know you're multi-talented. So share that with us.
I've been fortunate to be mentored. Let's see, the first production that I did, Doug and African Jamal Davis in California, they took me under their wing, and Doug Edwards in Berkeley, California, and they used to produce these live broadcasts, live radio broadcasts. So they would get the band, they would find the venue, they would get the engineer board, get all of that together. And so they basically are the reason that I do that, because they took me in under their wings and let me watch and let me see how it was done. And, you know, then I became a producer and I was doing my own stuff. It's so funny because when I moved back to Michigan, moved back to Detroit, I was producing a B3 concert, a Hammond B3 concert. I had Dr. Lonnie Smith, Tony Monaco, and I was doing a series, and I had met Marcus. I went to Burt's to do some promo. For
I don't want to cut you off, Joan, but what year did you move back?
Yeah.
Because that's
I believe it was 2004 or 2003, something like that. I know my youngest son was going to University of Michigan playing football. And I moved back because I wanted to see him play. And, you know, I stayed in California until all my children had graduated from high school. They were all out in college and stuff, so I'm like, okay, I can sell the house now. I can leave. But, yeah, so I had come back and I had done some promo down at Burt's. And I walked in, and, of course, I went to the jam session. Bill Meyer, he credits that he introduced me to Marcus, but actually it was my church organist, Michael Ross, who took me there. He took me there, and he said, if you want to find the best jazz musicians, this is where you have to go. And so after I sang, you know, Marcus came up to me, and he said, where are you from? And I said, I'm from here. He said, I know all the singers from here, and I would have known you. And I had 2 CDs that I had produced already, because I used to manage a recording studio out in San Jose. Beautiful recordings. Tony Bennett, used to come there and record. So what I'm saying is, it was a $1 million recording
Tony
studio.
Bennett don't play.
Exactly, right. So my CDs were high quality. You know, it afforded me. I wanted to learn everything I could about the business. So I managed. I went and I got hired to manage the recording studio. So I learned everything about the studio. They had a CD replication. It was a one-stop shop.
Oh, wow.
So, so an artist could come there, they could record, they could get their CDs pressed. We had a video shoot department, so they could come and get their video shot. And we also pressed cassettes right there on site.
Okay.
The CDs we outsourced because, it wasn't like burning CDs. There's a difference between a burned CD and a replicated CD.
Right.
A lot of people don't know that. They think this little CD that you make at home is the same as a rep. It's not, because of some systems, the quality is different. It won't play on certain systems, et cetera. And you learn that afterwards, after you spend all this money.
Yes.
And you got it, burned instead of replicated. So I managed all of that. I took care of the artist from the beginning to the end.
Okay.
And then I got hired away from that job to go work for the CD replication house.
Oh, wow.
Because
she's in the technical aspect.
Right. Because I wanted to see, well, they offered me a lot of money, but I really wanted to have a first-hand knowledge of how CDs were made.
Yeah.
With the green room and everything from the beginning to shrink wrap and everything.
Overall production of
everything.
The CD. Yeah.
And so I think that, so by the time I came to Marcus, I was cool.
Yeah.
And with him, it was really funny because most people, especially singers that came to him, wanted something, and he said this to me so many times, that they wanted him to help them with their career, to help them get a CD, to make introductions for them, to help them go in the studio, something.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't want nothing. I mean, I already had CDs. I knew what I was doing, and I was producing a show. So I asked him. I heard him play, and I went, "Ooh, this brother got some chops." I watched him get up on stage, and I've seen this over and over and over, how the musicians would all of a sudden solidify.
Yes.
I mean, everybody's doing their own thing, showing off. But then when he got on stage, everybody played as an ensemble, and it just sounded so good. So I asked him, I said, do you think you could put a band together and open up this show, this series that I'm producing?
Okay.
I had no idea who he was. I'm asking Marcus Belgrade.
Did he chuckle a little bit?
He said, well, I could probably do that. He said, but on one condition, you got to sing a song on the show. I'm like, no problem.
Okay.
No problem. So basically, I mean, I hired him. I paid him very well. And this was so funny to me. I produced the show. He did a Ray Charles thing.
Okay.
And I sang a couple Ray Charles songs for him. And he tried to pay me. I'm giving him the check. And he turns around to give me a check. I'm like, I'm the promoter.
Right.
But that taught me that he valued no matter what.
Yes.
I mean, I was the promoter. That was my promoter hat.
Right.
Yes.
But I also had a singer hat.
Yes. Yes.
So if I'm producing something for someone and they're paying me to produce a show, and they want me to sing on it,
Yes.
that's 2 fees
Yes.
that they have to come up with.
That's right.
So, he put that in my mind. For me, it didn't used to be that way. It's like, I'm already there.
Right.
And I love to sing. He's like, no, baby, you got to value yourself.
That's right.
If you don't value yourself, nobody else will. So that started my producing hat, and as far as my studio recordings. I produced, I think I have 7 CDs, I think. And, what was really funny is that on the You Don't Know Me CD, which is a tribute to New Orleans Ray Charles and the Great Ladies of Song, that was the first time Marcus had recorded vocals in the studio.
Oh, wow.
Now, he had recorded vocals before, but it was always live.
Okay.
Like people had done like a live recording.
Yeah.
He's comfortable on stage. That's his area. And in the studio, he's comfortable, too, on the trumpet.
Yes.
Okay.
But when he had to sing in the studio, he got nervous. I'm like,
it's taken him,
it took him out of his comfort zone.
Yes.
He did a wonderful job, but I thought it was really interesting that even this master musician who'd been in the studio with Ray Charles and Marvin Gaye and, whoever, that he actually was nervous in the studio. And I'm like, so I had to calm him down, and say, hey, baby, just look at me.
Yes.
You know, just look at me. It's fine.
Oh,
You know,
that's
no
awesome.
problem.
Yeah.
And he did. You know,
Wow.
I remember him and Charlie Gabriel rehearsing for this song on the project called "Life Is So Peculiar." It was a song that Louis Armstrong and Louis Jordan did. And it was a duet, had a lot of words.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And to hear the two of them
Wow.
rehearsing those lines, because, you know, I used to tell them all the time, I said, well, if you're going to be a singer, you got to learn the words.
Right.
You know, I mean, that's,
Always say that.
you know, people think that being a vocalist is easy, but we have to put in the work. I mean, for me, people who get up on stage with their little words, no.
Yeah, I feel you.
I don't understand,
Yeah.
because
Totally
music
with
is so important to me. I don't understand how you can feel a song, how you can
Right.
If you're reading
interpret
it.
how can you
Yes.
interpret a song if you don't know it?
Amen.
You know,
'Cause it's a
How can
story.
the audience get the message intended for the song if you're reading
They
it?
can't. I mean, I understand, like, Barbra Streisand always has her lyrics up. I get that, you know. I mean, but she knows the song. They're just there in case she forgets them.
Yes.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not that she's relying on them.
Right.
You know, it's
Right.
just kind of like a safety thing, you know, a safety net.
Yes.
But, you know, so I have the performer, you know, like when I did, and I have a producer, like you guys were part
Yeah.
of my Aretha Franklin
Yes.
Which was
production.
Fabulous show.
Oh
It
my
was so much
God.
fun.
You know, the DIA, the folks are Rudy over at the DIA, when they came to me with that project, I'm like, yes, you
Yeah.
know, yes. But I knew that for the Queen, it had to be top notch, you know. To me, it was one of the best productions that I felt I had done, you know,
And
because
it was one of the
felt
best celebrations though. For
because
Aretha
it
Franklin.
felt
Yeah.
so good,
It did
you know.
that.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
know.
from the beginning to the end, it was so much love and talent,
Mm-hmm.
and you can see that the people that came,
Yeah.
they enjoyed it so much. You could feel it,
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, everybody loves Aretha, you know.
but it wasn't just.
But it's not just that, because I've seen a couple of tributes to Aretha.
Yeah,
But the DIA, the one you did, was different.
it was.
It had a different energy to it. The love was so overwhelming. And I don't think it's necessarily, it was for Aretha, but it was just for what you put together in that community of people.
Yeah.
I walked in and I knew almost
It was
everybody
done by
there. It was
people who
great.
knew her,
Yes.
you know, and that was the difference.
Okay.
It wasn't just random.
Right.
You know, it was done by people who actually knew her and loved her.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that
Makes a
made the
difference.
difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the love and respect that they have for you as well.
Yeah.
Because you can't eliminate that. I know we like to pull ourselves out, but there's a power in what you do. People follow you because they love you.
Well, I think that a lot, as far as production goes, is respect. It's
Yes.
love, but it's also respect, because I come to the table with my stuff together.
Yes, you do.
You know, and I think a lot of that has to do with having it organized.
Yes.
You can't be a good producer if you're not organized.
Yeah, that's right. That's so true.
And you have to know, I think I learned this, of course, from African and from Doug Edwards, but I used to be a production control planner. And for people who don't know what that is, a production control planner oversees the overall project. It was for the big computers that do in Hollywood, that do Tron and all of that. You know, so every little piece. So a production control planner has to work with the engineers.
Okay.
They have to work with the material people. They have to work with the designers. They have to work with the quality
Yeah.
control.
Make sure
Their
everything's-
job is to make sure that from the start to the finish, that product is what it's supposed to
Right,
be.
right.
Yeah.
And so doing that, I learned how to work with people,
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
you know, and work with different departments. So
Yes.
so I know that I don't know everything,
Yeah.
but I know people who do.
You know who to hire.
I know who to
Yeah.
get.
But see,
Right.
that's key.
Oh,
Right.
Yes, it is.
And I think a lot of people think they know everything.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so they try to do it all themselves.
Yes.
And that doesn't work,
No.
you know. So I think with being open to knowing that I don't know it all, and being organized, and the love of what I do, I think that's what everything
She's preaching.
boils down.
For real, you're preaching. I mean, I want to talk about that some more, because that's a real thing. I know exactly what you're talking about. You know,
Right.
being hired as a musical director, and I didn't go to school for music, but I know what works.
Yes.
I don't know if you would call me a music director, but
you
I
are.
program
You
that
are.
service every weekend. And I'm not saying it happens by osmosis, but I know the spirits are working with me in that production every Sunday because people leave with a full feeling, and that's really, really important. Okay, we're going to take a small break, you guys. I'm sorry. I just want to keep going on that because that just touched me. That almost brought tears to my eyes. Joan is so powerful. We're going to take a small break, but we want you guys to stay. We're going to show you some of the photos from Joan's photo she brought of Marcus Belgrave when they named the street after him. And we're going to talk a little more about that and then about your project here that you're working on now. Okay? Stay with us, you guys.
Hey, baby. I know we've been having some struggles, but you know, we've been through a lot together, and I don't think now's the time to say goodbye. I just want to tell you how much you really mean to me. You know, it's you and me. Hey, love. Hey, love. Hey, love. Hey, love. Baby, you've been on my mind. Hey, love. Hey, love. Hey, love. Hey, love. You are looking mighty fine. Ooh, don't you miss me, baby? Don't you think of me? Don't you think of me sometime? You are such a part of me. Loving you is all I see. Don't you know you're made to be mine? Ooh, hey love, hey love, hey love, hey love. Baby, you've been on my mind. Hey love, hey love, hey love, hey love. You are looking mighty fine. Sometimes I can hear your voice. Sometimes I can feel your touch. Baby, I've been missing you so much. You are such a part of me. Loving you is all I see. Don't you know you're made to be mine? Hey love, hey love, hey love, hey love. Baby, you've been on my mind. Hey love, hey love, hey love, hey love. You're looking mighty fine. Hey love, hey love, ooh, hey love, hey love. Baby, you've been on my mind. Ooh, hey love, hey love, hey love, hey love. Can I have some of your time? Ooh, no, don't move so close to me like that. Ooh, hey love. You know what you do when you kiss me like that. Oh, no, not there. Hey love. Ooh, hey love. Baby, you've been on my
Welcome back to What's Up Detroit. We're here again with the one and only Miss Joan Belgrave and my homegirl, the one and only BJ. We were just talking to Joan about some of her ventures and her skills and the talents and the things that she's done over the years. And when I say skills, I mean just in the working aspect of the skill, but now we're going to talk about her creative aspect and really her God-given talent, which is, to me, her music. Her voice is beautiful, and if you haven't heard it, you need to check out some of her music. She had released a CD 2009, was it? Mm-hmm. That was Grammy nominated in 2010.
Exciting.
Yeah, look at you, child. Some of us are just dreaming about that. But you can pick up her music as well. It's available on all digital formats.
Yes.
Everywhere on iTunes and Amazon and you know, all of those places where you buy music. CD Baby.
This is the one, Excitable.
Mm-hmm.
And what number in the CD list was this one? Was it like 2, 3, 4?
4.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because she's got a sexy photo on the front. She's in the
Marcus
water.
took that picture, actually.
Did he?
Marcus took that picture. We were in Barbados.
Okay.
And at the Hilton in Barbados. And I'm a water person. I just love the water. And I was walking out. Yeah, I was Cancer.
I know.
There we go. Yeah, we're all Cancer.
All Cancer.
We're just one person up here today.
Right,
We just got different bodies.
And I was walking out to the beach in the water. It was real rocky there. And I remember pulling up my little wrap thing because I didn't want it to get wet. Mm-hmm. And Marcus snapped that picture. I didn't even know he was taking it.
Oh, wow.
You know. And then we got back and he suggested, he said, well, you should use that as the album cover. I'm like, really?
Yeah,
He's like,
it's great. It's a beautiful photo.
That's when I had dreadlocks.
And then I see you have some people that I know on here. You have Bill Meyer on here. It's Miss Galen McKinney. Yes, Marion Hayden's on here. I love the power of women because we just kind of
dynamic
bring it all
duo.
together. Yes. But it's beautiful. Where can they get this one at?
Same everywhere.
Everywhere. Okay, so you guys check it out. And then there's another one here that you have. And it says Marcus Belgrave presents a tribute to New Orleans and Ray Charles. This is the one you spoke about earlier.
Yeah, that has Marcus actually picked all the songs. It's he decided he wanted to do a tribute to New Orleans and Ray Charles.
Okay.
And he picked all the songs on there, and I was just honored that he let me be a part of it.
Yes.
So.
Well, it's very nice.
Yeah.
So I'm going to listen to these.
Okay.
And, you know, I like to put my own little collection together of my favorites, so don't be surprised if you call me one day and you're in the background. And you're playing in my car on my CD player. And then you had another album here.
Yes.
That's of Marcus. Can you tell us a little bit about this?
Sure. Well, Marcus's biggest CD or biggest album was Gemini, and his street was named. I had 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. We thank goodness the city of Detroit and City Council President Bridget Jones and Stephen Grady, Carl Craig, they were all facilitated him getting his street named Marcus Belgrave Avenue.
Yes.
Right at the corner of Aretha Franklin Way.
Right. Hold on one second. I think we have photos for that.
Yeah.
Because I like for them to see the photos and to actually see the corner where that was at.
Yeah.
It's pretty
I
awesome.
just thought that was beautiful.
It was amazing. I mean, God works. And so I had this CD released the same day.
Okay.
This is his Gemini album. I was telling the ladies on the break that I had people from all over the world asking me to reissue this album.
Wow.
And I decided no, I wanted it to be issued by a Detroit label.
Oh,
so it's
okay.
Issued by Detroit Planet E.
Yes.
Carl Craig, and it's available in Detroit right now. It will be globally, but they're holding off on that because it was a limited edition release.
Okay.
And it was released especially for the street naming.
Wow.
So yeah,
which is very, very nice and an honor in itself. It's like, ooh.
Yeah.
I saw photos from the street naming, and I just thought it was beautiful. She had it all set up. She's such a producer. She had it all set up. I was like, wow, it was a whole production. I was like, oh.
It pretty much was.
Yes, very nice.
It was.
Okay, so in this photo,
That's Ray Charles,
Yes.
Marcus. That's the street naming.
Okay.
That's the street naming right there with his son Kasan and his daughter Akua and his grandchildren.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice. And I think we're going to show one more photo. I think it's the actual photo of his name and Aretha Franklin's name
Yeah, it's at the corner of John R. and Madison Avenue. There we go.
Yeah, very
Aretha
nice.
Franklin Way and Marcus Belgrave Avenue.
Yeah.
So, go down and check it out. Take a picture by it. Hashtag it Marcus Belgrave Avenue so that it can all be in the same place.
Yeah, well, that's
But
beautiful though.
it's a blessing.
Yeah.
I mean, he mentored people here for 54 years. And so he deserved that street
Yeah.
name.
That's right.
Yeah.
And all the young people are trying to live up to.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to announce something here that I haven't talked about yet, but I also put together a Marcus Belgrave Legacy Band.
Oh, nice.
And so I will be touring with it and taking it out to the world and playing his music and telling his story. And the first show, I'm taking 4 groups to New York in January.
Oh, wow,
Oh,
nice.
wonderful.
Yeah, and the Marcus Legacy Band will be part of that.
Okay.
So it'll be a Detroit night in New York
Yes.
for the Winter Jazz Festival.
Wow.
So.
See, she's powerful.
I know.
I'm
and
like,
I
she's
know that
always doing something, and she's so
they
humble.
love
I'm
her
doing
in
okay.
New York. I
Yes.
have noticed that. Yeah, you get called there a whole lot, don't you?
I do.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be here in Ann Arbor on October 18th.
Yeah.
At the brand new, beautiful club called the Blue Llama. It really if you guys have ever been to Dizzy's in New York, it's on Broadway and 60th and Broadway. Just
Okay.
fabulous club. The Blue Llama really reminds me of that.
Okay.
It doesn't have the view of Central Park,
Right, right.
but everything else, the atmosphere, the staff, the food, it's
Okay.
an upscale supper club.
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember the one that we had, what was the name of that jazz club that we had?
It was a while ago.
in Southfield.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
I
talking
can't
about?
remember the name, but I know what you're talking about.
But it puts you in that same.
Okay.
It's that same. So it's grown folks.
Okay.
Yes.
Grown
but
folks
get
type of-
dressed up, go out to a nice place, listen
Yeah.
to some music, and have a wonderful meal.
Now,
Yes.
what time does that start, Joan?
There's 2 sets,
Okay.
2 shows, one at 7:00 and one I think at 9:30.
Okay.
And again, it's the Blue Llama in Ann Arbor, and it's brand new. They just opened up less than a year,
Wow.
I think.
Okay.
But they're bringing in cats like Robbie Coltrane,
Ooh.
and they're bringing in some good stuff. So
Okay.
I'm happy to perform for them and
Yes.
push them because it takes people to make these live venues
It sure
work,
does.
and we're thankful that we have live places to play.
Yeah.
We get spoiled here
Yes, we do.
because we
Yes.
have so much, and you don't
Talent.
realize until you go other places how blessed you are.
Yeah.
They say the grass is always greener on the other side, but a lot of times the grass is green at
Right
home.
here, right here.
And then
Really
once
green.
and you don't realize it until you're without it.
Right.
But there's a plethora of wonderful venues, wonderful musicians, wonderful vocalists. I
Right
mean,
here.
it's just
Yeah,
It's-
it always amazes me when I see how many after over the years that I've been singing here in the city, it's like it's just so many people.
It is.
So many young people coming. I love the children. I'm
Yes,
sorry, I
of
talk about
course.
the young people all the time, don't
of
I?
course.
I'm
Yeah.
still young.
Right.
Anyhow.
I think I'm young.
I know I
Only
am.
as old as you feel. Joan, you look good. I'm just saying. Anyhow, but what you do provides that opportunity for young people to see you.
Absolutely.
They're exposed to the legacy
Right.
that's here.
Right, and I always try to bring some young folks along. Like there'll be
Yes.
a surprise young folk on my show on October 18th.
Okay.
So and God is good. You got to do that because if you don't pull them along, then where will they go?
Yeah.
You know.
Yes.
You know.
I do have to ask you about the Grammy nomination.
Ah.
Now, I know that was like a point in your life when you was like, ding, I got it.
Well, I didn't win.
Yeah.
But I looked down, for me, just looking down on the list and seeing Freddie Cole and Diana Krall and my name
know,
right
right?
there, I went,
Yes.
I'm good.
That's
Yes,
right.
exactly,
You know,
right?
I'm good.
Yes.
So, God is good.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
But,
beautiful.
the Recording Academy, it does a wonderful job. They have, my good friend Howard Hertz is one of the upper folks in the Recording Academy, and he urged me to do that. The submissions, actually right now, the voting is on right now for next year's Grammys.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
everything has to be in by October before October 1st.
Okay.
So that's something for you folks to know, that if you want your project to be considered, you have to have it in before October 1st. It has to be released before October 1st to be considered
Got you.
for the next year's Grammys, which are
Right.
usually in February.
Okay. Wow. That is a very good
Yeah.
piece of information.
So like I said, I was supposed to get some stuff done, but I missed the date, so I got till next year. You know, it's something that you learn. You don't release anything in December
Yeah.
or November, although I did release I have a Christmas project
Oh, you
called
do?
Merry Christmas Baby. Yeah.
Sassy Jazzy.
Oh my gosh, it's so sassy. But, you know, as a general rule, you don't release anything in November because it's the end of the year.
Right.
You usually hold it and release it in January because that gives you a whole year to promote it
right.
in order so that it's part of the Grammys.
Okay. Okay. So that's what we should be expecting from you soon.
Next year,
Okay.
yeah.
Now we're looking for that.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to ask because I saw the Aretha Franklin thing. You know, we was a part of it. What's the next big production that you're putting together outside of what you mentioned in relation to the band?
Well, there's you mean the Detroit in New York is going to be a big deal.
Yes.
That's a huge production.
Okay.
Like I said, it will incorporate 4 different. There'll be a vocal aspect. There'll be an aspect that plays all of Marcus's music. There'll be a Detroit jazz masters aspect. And then the last aspect will be all of Marcus's protégés taking it forward.
Oh.
Wow.
Ooh, that should be good.
That's going to be a big production.
Yes.
But what I'm really excited about is the show that I did at the Charles Wright Museum called Our Music, Our Lives.
Okay.
And basically what that show does, it talks about how black music, for me, and I think for a lot of people, chronicles our lives throughout the years,
Yes.
throughout history. And I'm really, really excited that there's been some interest to take that show national and international.
Oh, wow.
And so that's going to be one of my big productions.
Oh, nice.
Because it takes the music from the beginning with just the drums leading the slaves to slavery, to freedom, to the North. And it goes from there into gospel, from there into blues, from there into jazz,
Yes, yes.
from jazz into funk and R&B, you know, and it ended up with the last tune that we did was Stevie Wonder's Higher Ground.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Which is also spiritual. 'Cause
Right.
I do that on Sundays.
Right. But I mean, it says no matter what, we're going to keep going and keep
Yes.
climbing. So, but for me, the music has always been I used to say that the men in my life will come and go, but my music is constant
Yeah.
and will always be there,
Yes.
no matter what,
That's
Right.
right.
you know. So,
That's a hard thing for some men to swallow. You know that, right? Understand it. You're married to
you
your
can
music.
say that people in your life will come and go.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, because even your children, I love my children, but you know, they change, right? They start out being these little bitty people that you're their every world, and then they grow, and then you want them to grow and fly,
Yes, you
and
do.
do what they do, and go and do their thing,
Yes.
and you know, so everything changes,
Yes, it
Right.
right?
does.
But
That's a good way of saying
for
it.
me, the music has never changed.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
It never will change. It will always be there no matter what. So if I'm sad, I sometimes write a sad song. If I'm happy, I write a happy song.
Yeah.
You know, I go back to Billie Holiday, what I said in the very beginning. It depends on what's going on in life,
Right.
Yes.
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think that the men that I deal with think that way because that's just me.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
when I met Marcus, like I said, I had a divorce, and I didn't want to deal with anybody.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, all I'm doing is music, and I told him, you know, we can work together, you know, but, you know,
Yeah.
that's it.
Right.
Yes.
So we worked together for over a year before we
wow.
even dated,
Oh, wow.
you know,
Wow.
because I don't want that.
Yeah.
Because as women, you know, and I guess men too, I don't know if men in the business do it as much as women do, but we tend to turn the focus onto them. You know, we tend, as nurturers, I'm a nurturer.
Right.
You know,
Yes.
I tend to want to make sure they're okay. I want to make sure that they got what they need.
Yes,
And what that does is it takes a little bit away from what you need to do.
Yes.
Right.
Because you're only one person,
That's
you know,
right.
and even though we know how to multitask,
Right.
Yes.
you know,
That's
so, you know, when I met him, I didn't, you know, and I think that, again, that might have made me more attractive to him
Yeah.
because I didn't want him
Yes.
in that
I
capacity.
can believe that.
You know?
Yes. Yes.
But I think that as far as your question, I don't see that because the people that well, first of all, I'm not even there, but the people that I hang around, they know how I am.
Yeah.
You know, and I was without my music for 15 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that ain't gonna happen again.
That's right. Right. Said I got a journey. Yeah.
Right.
Knowing, but knowing that it's good.
I
you
think
know.
that if you know
Clarity.
it in the
Yes.
beginning,
Yes.
you know, then there's no issue.
That's
Right.
I think that if you come into it with false expectations, you know, as women in the business, you know, it's a hard thing for a man to have whoever it is that they love
Yes.
up there be the object of
I know,
someone
right?
else's desires.
It's a hard
Right?
thing. Yes, it
It's
is.
a hard thing for them to have. One thing that I loved about Marcus was that not only was he not intimidated by it, but he pushed me to do more.
Yeah.
And that's what you need.
You know, and that's what you need. And if you don't have somebody in your corner
That's that strong.
who's pushing you
push
to
you.
do more
Yes.
instead of being intimidated or you know, feeling like their ego is bruised. Look, I always say this thing: if I love you, and if she loves you, if he loves you, they really love you.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what you're doing or who you're with.
Yeah.
You know where your loyalties
That's right.
are.
That's right.
And if you don't know where your
That's
loyalties are, then you don't need to be with them.
That's right.
You know, if you have to
right.
worry about me being with somebody else, then you don't need me.
That's right.
And if I have to worry about you being with someone else, then I don't need you. And
That's
that brings
right.
in a whole bunch of dynamics.
Yes.
So as long as you have that straight
Understanding in the
understanding,
beginning.
then there's no worries.
Right.
You know, and I think that as women, we don't do that in the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, because we're so happy trying to please them.
Yeah.
You know, trying to be
That's
their
true.
everything.
Yeah.
You know, which is cool. I mean, I get it. I
She said,
I get it. I get it because I'm a nurturer. My man is taken care of in every way. You know, I'm old school.
Yeah.
You know, so it ain't nothing for me to do breakfast in bed.
Right.
You know,
right.
I mean, but it's not out of obligation. It's out of love.
Yes. Yes.
But there's an understanding. This is what I do.
Yes.
This is who I am. This is my being.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So don't get in the way. Don't
Right.
make me choose.
Right.
right.
Yeah, I agree.
She said, "Don't make me choose, because I'm sorry, honey. Somebody's gonna
I
be
love
left out.
you.
It
I
won't be the
love you.
music.
I love you. But
Yes. Yes. Yeah, BJ, you got a story about that? The music and well, having to choose
Yeah, well, you know.
to a degree.
To a degree.
To a degree,
Well, you
yes.
know, as you know, Joe might not know, but I was married 3 times.
Oh wow. Okay.
3 times.
Yes.
My first daughter, well, I was raped, and I got married to the father
Okay.
so that he wouldn't go to jail because I was up underage. I was 15,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he was like 4 years older than me.
Okay. Okay.
So I married him, which was a disaster, and didn't last long, 2.5 years. And then I got married again later on,
Yeah.
and that was a 20-year marriage.
Yes.
So the second one was better because he was in the music business.
Right.
You met Eddie Watkins,
Yes.
who was a great bass player, and he turned to do gospel
Right.
after we divorced.
Okay.
But you know, not trying to have woe is me, but just being married to an individual that is self-centered. So I kind of was on the back burner,
Right. Right.
as we do.
even though
Right.
I was more prominent in the music business.
Right. Right. Right.
You know, he
Yeah.
played for me. I didn't play for him. He was my, you know,
Right.
bass player.
Right.
But anyway, you know, just being married for that long of a time,
Yeah.
and you know, drugs come into view in this business, which
Yeah.
took our marriage because you know he turned into, you know, that crack cocaine, you know.
Took a lot of our folks.
Yeah, so that destroyed our marriage. Well, we had two beautiful girls, you know.
Yeah.
And so I'm not bitter or anything. I'm just telling the truth about what, as women, what we go through.
Yeah.
So the third time around, I said, you know what? I'm not going to deal with a musician ever again. That's it.
She was
It's
done.
like,
She was done.
because it can't be but one diva in this house, and that's me.
That's right.
You know?
Yes, I'm the queen bee.
Yeah.
That's right.
You know, I'm not
I know a
putting
lot of
myself
people who will say that
on
they
the
don't,
back
they won't deal
burner
with musicians because of that.
anymore.
But
I'm not.
I didn't find that though. I honestly, I mean, I get that, and
Yeah.
I get that, you know, but I was really blessed not to have that type of situation
Yes.
because I thought the same thing too.
Yeah, you
I
know.
thought, you have to worry about ego, who's more out there, who's more of a star, and who's
Right.
shine. Like you walk in the room and folks look at you instead of them,
Yes.
you know, and
So-
then you feel bad,
Yeah,
you know.
But you can't feel bad.
No,
You
no.
gotta be
You
you.
know, so
You
I
gotta be
said
you.
that third marriage is like I'm going to get the opposite.
Right.
I'm just going to get me a regular guy that just wants to punch that clock and come home and just, you know, be normal.
She said be normal.
But that's hard too because they don't understand the business.
And so here we go.
Right.
So, but what I'm saying is that was 20 years.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is I stay as long as I can for the longevity of a marriage because I am old school and I believe when you make a commitment and you give a person your love, you go through, I believe in what marriage is supposed to be about.
Yeah.
You know, you stay through thick and thin.
Yeah.
Right.
No questions about it. But, you know, that's add all of those years up.
Right. Right. I'm just saying.
That's a lot
some
of
serious
years.
time right
that's
there.
some serious
Yeah.
time to be married. So when I divorced in 2014, it was like, I'm done. I'm good.
Just like I'm finished.
I'm good. And so my walk from then was just be single. Just enjoy yourself because at one point I felt like I lost myself, even though I never stopped singing. I sung all through all of this, you know, if it wasn't nothing but in the choir. I sung. I recorded. I did the Las Vegas thing for years. I never stopped singing, but I feel like a part of me was destroyed as far as who I am.
Yeah.
By giving
so much.
Yeah. And then it's like, you know what? I like being on my own.
Yeah,
This
but you
is
know
good.
that now.
Yeah,
All those years of your experience taught you something about yourself.
Yes.
And I think it was the same thing with you.
Absolutely.
Been my journey, of course.
Yes.
And once we learn that self-love and know how to love ourselves unconditionally and love us for
And
who
that it's
we
okay.
need to
And
be,
it's
and
okay.
that
it's okay.
It's okay. and
then
it's
we feel okay
I'm
to
good.
be free.
Yes.
Right.
And then what is for us will come to us.
Yes. Which,
You know, it will come to us.
recently it did. It
Yes.
was like, bam, here this man comes along that is so cool, confident,
Yes.
Right.
and it just happened.
Yeah.
When
Because
it's right, it's right.
time.
Yeah.
It was time.
And it
All
felt
things
so
in his time.
normal.
That's
it felt
right.
so natural.
Right.
You know?
Right.
I didn't have to put on a front. He doesn't have to put on a front with me. It's a mature individual who knows who they are
Right,
and
right.
comfortable in their own skin. When you go with me and you show me that you aren't intimidated by
Right.
what I'm doing
Right.
and you are so comfortable,
Right.
I said, you know what? This man got it going on.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But that's what's important is for them to
have
understand
to be
your
comfortable.
value.
And they have to be
Yes.
comfortable
value.
in their own skin.
They have to be
Yes.
comfortable.
They have to
in
be
their own
comfortable.
Thank you for watching our Comcast Cable lineup between 7 a.m. and 12 noon. To continue watching your favorite shows on TV 33, download our app, WHPR TV Now, or get your favorite programming 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on Roku, Fire Stick, iPhone, and Alexa. Tune in when we're broadcasting live on Channel 15.2, and afternoon, watch us on all of your favorite devices. And if you'd like to have your own show, Block Time is available.
Say you are Valentine and hopes that you're still mine.
WHPR is asking you to be our Valentine. You're watching WHPS, Highland Park, Detroit. The views and opinions expressed on the following show are not necessarily the views and opinions of WHPS, its affiliates, management, or sponsors. WHPR wants to say Happy Valentine's Day to you and yours.
I'm Deborah Geraldine Bledsoe Ford, and I want to tell you about Michigan's other first family of law. My grandfather, Attorney Harold Bledsoe, became the first Assistant Attorney General in the state of Michigan. 2 of his 3 children were judges, Geraldine Bledsoe Ford and William Felga Bledsoe. My husband, Attorney Jerome Watson, was one of the first black partners in Miller Canfield, and I became a judge in 2005, following in my family's footsteps.
Hi, this is LaWanda.
This is R.J. Watkins.
Coming to you to bring you some information about the #1 detox in the nation, Lemon Burn. Lemon Burn helps to turn the fat into fit. It's for you, a happier, healthier you. Because you know healthy is the new beautiful. An all-natural way to improve your health. It promotes a healthy digestive system, attacks and reduces belly fat, as well as gives you energy. Need to get yours today. Call 313-868-6612.
Don't forget to exercise and eat right.
Welcome, everyone. It's our 2nd season. Yeah, that's right. The Brother Mike's Second Chance Show. All new show designed for the world to see. We welcome the second chance stories and testimonies. All are welcome this time around. So make sure you bring your talent, gifts, music, arts, beats, and sweets. Sponsors, you're welcome too. As we embark upon this new season, we will cover all topics and get platforms to the entertainment world and the Motor City. It's about to go down the second time around. Visit www.brothermike.com for more information. And make sure you tune in every 2nd and 4th Sunday at 5 p.m. on WHPR TV 33. It's the Brother Mike Show.
This is season 2 for Brother Mike, and I'm so happy today. I'm just honored that you took out your time to be a part of the Brother Mike Second Chance Show. We're live here at studio at WHPR TV 33. It's about to go down. We've got a great show lined up. But before we get into the show, the word for today is simply thank you. I don't know about you, but I'm just thanking God for all the marvel, for keeping your faith. In times like these, remember God's hand is always there to hold you and pull you back up. No matter what the problem is, it's nothing too hard. Don't ignore symptoms and different things that come about. Just call on the name of Jesus. Like I say, this is our 2nd season. I never would have thought that God would give me another chance at being in the industry after years and years of doing my thing. Now I'm doing my thing for God. We have a great show lined up. We have Young Men for Christ. They're back. They're burning up the charts and burning up the streets of Detroit. Also, we're doing live average second chance stories. We have a young man here who's about to sit down and tell us a little bit about how it feels after 26 years of being incarcerated. So don't touch that dial unless you're turning it up. Once again, don't be afraid of the storms that come. Storms come, but storms do pass. Clouds never stay on top of your head. They always move out of your way. So we're going to keep it moving this year, and you're set for a great time. So once again, welcome to the 2nd season of the Brother Mike Second Chance Show. You're live. Phone a friend. Tell the family. Get your kids. Get your young man there. Anybody that might want to be inspired by what's going on in the city of Detroit. Highland Park, I love you. Detroit, I love you. To the world, I love you. You're in for a treat, so once again, welcome to the Brother Mike Second Chance Show.
State Farm agent Julie Carter is committed to providing service that goes far beyond quality products and discounts. Julie's here to help life go right with 24-hour assistance, flexible payment plans, and top claim services. Please call Julie Carter anytime at 586-739-2367 for all of your auto, home, life, and health insurance needs. A new exciting platform for independent artists. New artists of the new millennium. It's the Brother Mike Second Chance Show. This platform is designed to showcase and share the second chance that has been given to those who have been blessed to receive another chance at a journey in life that they thought would never come. This show is sure to bless you and to encourage you with not just the musical talents, but life testimonies of how one has made it over by the favor and grace of God. This show will feature local and national artistry. Join us each and every second and fourth Sundays of the month on TV 33 and channel 91 for Comcast subscribers. Or download Roku on all media devices. For more information on the show, visit www.brothermike.com or email us at thesecondchanceshow@brothermike.com.
Welcome back to the Brother Mike Second Chance Show. I'm just got to give a shout out to my new sponsors, State Farm. Agent Julie Carter over at State Farm Family, committed to providing services that goes far beyond quality products and discounts. Call Julie Carter. She's always there to help. Their office is located at 8090 Woodray in Shelby Township. Call her at 1-586-739-2367 or 1-586-739-2368. That's Julie Carter over at State Farm. She'll take very good care of you. Just mention Brother Mike and she'll take extra care of you. Thank you, Julie, and to the State Farm family for stepping in and being sponsors of the Brother Mike Second Chance Show. We welcome you all and say thank you again. We're going into a second segment here, second season of the Brother Mike Show. Statistics have shown, I think this was a relevant cause for a topic to start us out on. Black men being incarcerated. Statistics have shown between 1980 and 2018, people of color account for 37% of the population, yet they represent 67% of the prison population. Black men incarcerated. Here with me now, I have a young man who did 30 plus years incarcerated, and he's a wonderful, wonderful young man. He's gotten out. He's wrote a book entitled Blurred Visions. Show you here. You get more information about that. What's up, Conrad?
How you doing there, brother? God bless you.
God, man, thank you for being here.
It's an honor.
You are about to be such an inspiration for that next young man, not to take that wrong turn. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, you know, my name is Conrad. Did almost 30 years in prison. And I came through during the era where the drug and the crack game was pretty much prevalent in the black community, especially in Detroit. During the mid-'80s, we ran a pretty big drug organization. But that lifestyle, unfortunately, got me, nearly 30 years, 3 decades in prison straight. And during that time, I had to learn who I was. I had to learn who I was. I had to learn what my purpose was, because before that, I thought selling drugs and living that life was my purpose. But God showed me that there was a part of me that was lying dormant. And once I learned what that part was, my life was just dedicated to doing His will. And that's the gist of who I am. I'm simply a servant of God.
Amen. Bro, if you could speak to that young man out there that won't listen to his mom, not that father, nobody. Because I read that you even came from a 2-parent household. Am I correct?
I did.
And mom was a nurse and dad worked at Ford?
I did. Unfortunately, that lifestyle changed. Statistically, a lot of young people become at risk when there's turmoil in the family. I come from a divorced family, abusive father who unfortunately abused and was an alcoholic and abused my mother, my siblings, myself. And that lifestyle kind of changed the direction of my life.
Yes, yes.
And once they divorced, my life just went from having aspirations of going to college and good grades to being homeless at 13, living on my own on the streets at 13, finding the streets became my parents. And that's what began to direct my life, was the streets. And I know a lot of young people living that same way, single-parent households, not having the direction that they need. But there's only 2 results to that life. How can they give you a guarantee that there's only 2 results, and that's prison or death? And I don't want to see no young people following that same path I did. It's not worth it.
Wow, but you took, as they say, lemons and made lemonade.
Amen.
Out of it. Because he's also an awesome writer. He's also, you were a praise leader.
Yeah, praise
and started a praise team inside while you were incarcerated. Tell us a little bit about that experience.
Well, it's funny how I came to doing praise and worship, because I never played an instrument in my life, never sung, none of that kind of stuff. I thought I was too hood for that. So for me to be singing, for people who knew me before I came to prison, now people who know me in prison know that's all they know me for, singing and worshiping and praising God.
Wow, man, that's incredible.
Starting that lifestyle, I was ministering first in prison. And I went to a particular prison, and I always asked this question. I said, God, wherever I go, what do you need me to do while I'm there? And at this particular prison, there were a lot of dynamic ministers, good brothers who was just good speakers, filled with the anointing.
Is this prison ministries that came from different churches that would come?
Yeah, they had different volunteers that would come into the prison, but mostly the prisoners ran the services.
Oh, okay.
So as I was at one particular prison, God spoke to me and said, I want you to do praise and worship.
Wow, man.
And at this particular prison, the worship was just horrible. We were singing out them old school hymn books. No music, none of this. I couldn't play nothing. But within a year, I was playing and leading praise and worship at that church.
Self-taught on the piano.
Self-taught.
Wow. We're going to go right into your book. Give us a little description about Blurred Visions, Doc.
Well, Blurred Visions, the making of an at-risk youth. God gave me a revelation on this book. And the reason I wrote it, I used to be a youth facilitator at Thumb Correctional Facility. Now, what that is my job was to mentor young offenders. I had guys in my class 13 years old.
Honest.
13 through 21. Those were the demographic ages that I used to have to mentor. Wow. And these were young men who just lived just some of the most hard lives.
Yeah.
And because I can relate, I was allowed to be a part of a team that would minister and direct and mentor these young men and prepare them to leave into society.
Wow.
Because the prisons didn't know how to reach them. So they came to us, men that have been in those shoes.
Who would be best to do it? Yeah.
Yes. So as I was teaching my class, God began to speak to me and say, the enemy has been trying to attack the vision. In Job 2:28, there's a prophecy that God gives.
Call it out.
And God said that old men shall have dreams. And I said, wow, that's something else. But then it goes on to say, and young men shall have vision. And I said, now what's the difference between the dream and a vision? See, we older, you don't look older, but we older. We can sit back and dream about what
we're holding our own.
Yeah, that's right. But we can sit back and dream about what the future should be like.
Yeah.
But the beauty of young people is that they have the vision to not only see what the future be like, but mold the direction of it.
Hold that thought. How do you feel, man, when you know for yourself that a lot of times black guys for the same crime get way more time than a white guy would when he goes in jail? I mean, what is that conversation like behind the prison wall?
Well, unfortunately, that's the reality of the United States and our penal system. Justice reform is something that's desperately needed. We come from, slavery and just the impact that made on our communities. It's no surprise that we make up the majority of the incarcerated, yet we only make up a small, minute of the percentage of this country.
Wow.
And it goes to show that there has to be some type of strategic plan that's designed to keep us in that state.
Wow.
And if we're not aware of it and learn how to be, because the Bible said we destroy for lack of knowledge. If we don't take the time to gain the knowledge that we need to keep ourselves from ending up where I've been, unfortunately, that'll be the pattern that we keep going.
Oh, wow. Man, it's been a blast talking to you, Doc.
Praise God.
And we're going to be hearing more from Brother Conrad Caldwell. We're going to cut to a commercial, and we're coming back with Young Men for Christ.
Amen.
Amen. It's been a great time. Stay tuned.
State Farm agent Julie Carter is committed to providing service that goes far beyond quality products and discounts. Julie's here to help life go right with 24-hour assistance, flexible payment plans, and top claim services. Please call Julie Carter anytime at 586-739-2367 for all of your auto, home, life, and health insurance needs.
Welcome back to the Brother Mike Second Chance Show. Thank God for a second season here. I'm walking in my new season, and I'm not alone. I'm here with three of Detroit's finest artists in the city of Detroit. They're burning up the streets, burning up the charts, and I'm speaking of none other than Young Men for Christ. What's up, brothers?
Hey, what's going on? Good. How you doing?
Oh, man, I'm happy y'all here, bro.
Yeah, me too.
What's going on? Let us know what's going on with Young Men for Christ.
Young Men for Christ, we're up to a lot now. Doing a lot of new music coming out this year.
That's great.
Yep. Traveling a lot more, just starting to branch out more, different Avenue. So yeah.
That's amazing, man. If we was on the same show last night.
Yeah.
And man, they turned it out so bad, it was just ridiculous. That quartet singers, I might add.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
They bringing that sound back. Where did that come from? I'm going over here to the air.
Well, that came from my mom used to sing that song back in the day at her old church.
Mm-hmm.
And we thought my mom is deceased now, and they sung it at her funeral.
Really?
Yeah, they sung that at her funeral. And what we decided to do, we wanted to take that song and turn it around into, younger generation to the flavor, a different flavor. So they took the song, and ever since then, it's been one of our request songs.
Man, y'all was hot last night.
Yeah.
It was really, really good. Young Men for Christ. Where did that name come from?
Young Men for Christ. So back in 2012, we were asked to sing a little bit at this showcase. Not a showcase. I'm sorry, at this event.
Mm-hmm.
And we were trying to last minute kind of figure out what names would we call ourselves or not. So we came up with Young Men for Christ because these are all young people, working for Christ. So,
young as in he was 13, I was 16.
Yeah.
So y'all been hanging out a while. Oh man, I said this season I'm gonna keep the young folk closer. Closer to me. What's next for Young Men for Christ?
Like I said, we got a lot of different things coming up this year. Our CD release, we're going to Houston this month, Houston, Texas.
For the
Gospel Awards, the Texas Awards.
You guys were nominated.
Yes, we were.
Oh, tell us about your nomination.
We was nominated for the best quartet male group of the year and the best quartet of the year.
That's deep.
Yeah, so
there's a praise. Put there a praise right there. And might I add, this is father and son. You probably don't need to know because they look just like twins. But anyway, father and son, how is that for a father and son? Speak to that father and son.
Well, to me, it's an honor and a privilege that you can have your son, a father and a son singing together. It reminds me of the Canton Spirituals, Harvey Watkins and Harvey Watkins Sr. and they sung together. And it was one of my dreams. I've been doing this almost over almost 30-some years of quartet, and I never thought in my life that my son would be following behind me in quartet. My nephew over here, and I look at it like it's a father and son team with the family. And what we trying to do as a younger generation, for these guys here, is to try to keep, minister to younger people. All young people is not always doing wrong. You know what I'm saying? And they not in jail, not selling drugs and different things. To me, it's an inspiration that we can have younger generations and younger crowd following our ministry. So that's how I look at it. And God has really been blessing us.
Amazing, man. You guys are close-knit. You guys are family-oriented. And the biggest thing that I felt last night is that you were anointed.
Yes, sir.
Y'all weren't just singing. Y'all were anointed. And it was like angels from God, bruh. And I was so proud to know, just like you said, in the city of Detroit, you all are representing well. Representing us well with this quartet sound. It's coming back.
Thank you.
What do you have? What do you like about singing with your dad?
I love, for one, it keeps us closer, and we have a bond that nobody can break.
Right.
And I love it. And by the way, Lance, his father also started in the group. He's actually one of the originals. He moved to California though, but it really started off as a father and son tag team.
Oh wow!
His dad played the keyboard, and he sung top before he moved to California. And by all of us, being together, which is his uncle, nephew, by all of us being together, it just brought us closer together. And it was also my grandfather's. He loved quartet music too, so it made it even bigger family. Something that we should do as a family, and
you all are reaching.
Love it, man.
You all are reaching a new generation with a brand new sound. Young Men for Christ. I think y'all on the move to go higher and do greater and bigger and brighter things.
Yes,
man.
sir.
Y'all
Yes,
brighten
sir.
up today. I feel a reunion coming on. I can't wait to be on tour with y'all. I know it's going to be set up soon. How can we stay in touch with y'all?
Young Men for Christ, we're on Facebook under Young Men for Christ with the number 4. Our website is Young Men for Christ as well. Twitter, Instagram, the official YM4C. We're on all digital outlets. Young Men for Christ under iTunes, CD Baby, Tidal, Amazon. Look us up. We are there.
All right.
Detroit Young Men for Christ is our Facebook. Yeah, Facebook.
All right. And what's y'all next appearance? Y'all got any updates coming? Something coming up?
Today.
Coming?
We got to sing
Y'all
today.
singing today where? So we can know.
It's on 8 Mile at Greater Mount Olive.
Okay.
So as soon as we leave here, we got to go.
Y'all on program. Y'all on
Yes,
the
sir.
move.
Yes, sir.
And
And also, this year coming up is our 7th year anniversary.
Yeah.
The first Sunday in July. So I know it's quite a bit away, but you can put that down in your calendar books. First Sunday in July, Young Men for Christ will be celebrating 7 years together.
Amazing.
Yes, sir.
I am honored and happy. And when y'all get that Grammy, see if I can get a ticket.
Yes, sir.
Be sitting with y'all. Y'all got to promise to come back.
I promise to come
I just
back.
took to y'all, and this a member missing. What's his name?
Davion.
Davion is missing. Davion ain't far away, though. He's over there.
Also known as the old man.
Davion is known as the old man. Davion wasn't moving like no old man. Last night, Davion ain't about old. But anyway, it's an honor, a privilege to have y'all back. And you'll be back again once the single drop. You got to promise to come back, visit Brother Mike on the Brother Mike Second Chance show. We are about to sign out. Our time is almost over. I'd just like to give another shout out to my sponsor today, which is Julie Carter over at State Farm. State Farm is committed. They're a wonderful, wonderful insurance company. And they stepped in and wanted to be a part of what's going on here in the city of Detroit. I believe we have a commercial that is coming up from State Farm shortly after this, and then we'll come back and we'll be closing out. So stay tuned. Your word, your glory, your goodness, and your honor you gave.
State Farm agent Julie Carter is committed to providing service that goes far beyond quality products and discounts. Julie's here to help life go right with 24-hour assistance, flexible payment plans, and top claim services. Please call Julie Carter anytime at 586-739-2367 for all of your auto, home, life, and health insurance needs.
Welcome back to the Brother Mike Second Chance Show. I'd like to give a shout out and special thanks to my guest today, Conrad Caldwell. He has a new book out, Blurred Visions. You can get it at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and possibly all the other digital media outlets. It'll be something posted on my Facebook page, Brother Mike _1, or you can go to Brother Mike, www.com. And get more information on Brother Conrad. He will be back with us. I'd like to give a special thanks to Young Men for Christ for stopping by. They're on their way to Mount Olive to tear the roof off the place, and I know they're going to do that. And as for you, my second chance is hold on to your dreams. And if you can't hold on to Jesus' hand, God's unchanging, everlasting hand. Your visions continue to strive forward. Don't forget that God is a God of second chances. Many, many chances, but God is also a God of second chances. You tuned in to Brother Mike's Second Chance Show. This is our second season kickoff show, and I'm very happy and excited about things that are about to come for the Brother Mike Show. We're down south now. We're streaming live down the South Coast. So the show is being able to be seen. We're on demand. You can download TV33 app and pull up on demand and watch the show at any time. And so we're branching out. God is expanding us, and we're just walking in a new season. Until next time, we're on every second and fourth Sundays at 5. Thank you, Lord, again. Have a great day.